Welcome to the first edition of A Beer With A Brewer. You've got Matt and Matt. You might know us by a few other names, our monk names, Matthias and Hugh, the Wizard and Sexy, Matty the Brewer and Flex. He's actually been increasing his local sort of celebrity lately. Just this week alone we've had the courier mail down to get a few shots and an interview with Flex. And also local councillor Cara Cook was down here yesterday getting a socially distanced selfie with Flex. So if you don't know him already around the traps, then I'm sure pretty soon you'll see him around, maybe on a billboard on Oxford Street or something.
Running for local member or something, I don't know. We'll see how we go.
But we thought we'd bring you sort of a weekly update in this format of what's going on here at the brewery. Obviously lately there's been a lot of big changes going on in the world with COVID. Here at Revel at the brew, we've had to change things a fair bit on how we operate and still be able to stay open and bring beer and food to everyone. So Flex, do you want to give us a bit of a rundown on what we've done here at the brewery to keep things going during this time?
Yeah, thanks Matty. So as you all probably know, that we've got a great outdoor area and some inside seating. So with our social distancing and everything being shut down, we've shut everything down and created the internal and the front window here as a full service takeaway, pickup and also delivery of the beers and our pizza and pasta. We've also got a online store now through Shopify, so if you wanted anything delivered, jump on there, click whatever beers and products you want, and we can deliver them out to you wherever you are. Moving on from that, we've increased our food offering also, so we've added some new kitchen appliances, and our chefs work tirelessly to create some fantastic handmade pastas, also still constantly creating our fantastic wood-fired pizzas also.
So Nonna's Kitchen?
Nonna's Kitchen, and and then the pizza as well. So that's what we've been doing. Our team's been working really hard to keep everything going, keep the beers flowing, keep the food and everything going to the local community and everyone else out there. And it's just been a really good learning curve for us. It's been challenging at times, but very rewarding on the other side of things. So in addition to the food, Matty, you've been absolutely smashing out some fantastic limited releases over the last month. So why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown in relation to what you've been up to?
And during this time we've been pumping out plenty of limited releases, releasing 1 or 2 a week at the moment, which is pretty exciting for us and the drinkers out there that get to drink our beers. So the latest 2 we've come up with is the Dark Storm, a beer we've made a couple of times at the brewery, but this version we've called Mum's Oatmeal Stout. So the story behind this one goes, recently I travelled to New Zealand, over for the New Zealand hop harvest with our hop supplier Hopco and a couple of other breweries, Black Hops and Currumbin Valley. But before we headed off to the hop farms, we went and checked out Gladfield Malt, which is based just out of Christchurch. So Gabby and Doug there were great hosts. They took us around the maltings. Doug showed us how he had literally built everything by his hands, gave us a few tales of what's happened during the journey at Gladfield Malt, which is quite awesome to see. The 2 of them have literally built the company from the ground up, so that's quite inspiring stuff. But at the end of the tour, Gabby took us to a little brewery. She's got a little 50-litre brewery there that she uses to make beers out of all the different malts they make. Does it obviously as a bit of fun, and then also to showcase different stuff they're doing. And then after the tour, we went in and had a couple of stouts that Gabby had made, and all of us there drinking went, wow, this is really good. And had a few more, had a bit of a yarn, and then when we got back we sort of was really excited about it. I said, why don't I make that? So I thought that'd be awesome. So we got Gabby to send us over the recipe, and then created Mum's Oatmeal Stout based off Gabby's home-brewed 50-litre version of a stout. So using all Gladfield malt, she's done a great job, and I think it's turned out pretty good. So this is a fresh release out this week.
Sensational. Everything that you want in the stout.
Beautiful, nice roasty character. Oh, it's a bit windy here. beer. Very good. So, Mum, I hope you're proud. And the next one we've got is our Ella fresh hop beer.
Yes.
So all the hops are harvested at the same time in obviously New Zealand and Australia, being in the southern hemisphere. So whilst we're over in New Zealand checking out the hops there, they're doing the same thing here in Australia, down in Tasmania, harvesting the hops. Last year we went down to Bushy Park, just out of Hobart, where they grow a lot of the Australian hops, as well as in Victoria. Check out what's going on there, and we brewed a Enigma fresh hop beer. So this year we've changed the variety, brewed it from Ella hops. The profile is a little bit different, Enigma being an enigma. Lots of dank, really awesome characters, and this one's a little bit more floral and spicy, the hop variety. But in terms of making the beer, we get 100 kilograms of hop flour sent up from Tasmania. The difference between brewing a beer with hop flowers and hop pellets that we normally use is when they pelletise the hops, they go through a process where they make them so they're stable over time, so they can last anywhere up to 2 years if you look after them well, keep them in the fridge. Whereas hop flowers are literally like a flower you would pick, and you have about 48 to 72 hours to use the hops.
They're alive, kind of natural.
They are,
right
so
at that stage.
yeah. So there's quite a small window to make a fresh hop beer, and from Brisbane down to Bushy Park is quite a distance, so it becomes a little bit of a logistical challenge to get the hops here in time while they're still in pretty good quality, but we managed to get them in.
Yep.
So we got the hops, we sent them off to the freezer overnight, and then got them back the next day. They were frozen. The reason we do this is because all the goodness in the hop is in the inside. So rather than the lupulin, rather than the plant matter, we want the nice yellow sticky lupulin where all the flavour comes from. So I had my helper Jimmy in there bashing up the hops with a lawn stomper.
It's fairly soul destroying after a couple of days.
I nearly killed Flex doing it last year, so he didn't want that job again.
No, I was busy then.
But we used 40 kilograms into the brew, which is quite a bit to fish out of the whirlpool the next day, and then another 60 kilograms into the fermenter over 2 dry hops. So
it's a DDH.
DDH, double dry hopped.
Very nice.
So these have both been released in the last week. So a stout and a fresh hop IPA.
Fantastic.
Nice. So yeah, we're gonna keep this rolling. A bit of a catch up on what we do each week. We've got a new beer coming out, at least one a week for the next few weeks. So cheers.
Cheers.